Uh, I'm Polab, and I'm joined here with Paleo Gamer and Strazeri on their Twitches, and we've got a couple other people in the chat with us. We've got Dicey, Boo, Smoke Dog, Brilliant, and I think that's it. That's going to be talking. We're just going to be answering questions, community questions. So I'm going to start us off with this question here. This guy Gunda Sama has been waiting for this one, and I think it's pretty good. I have a question about War Chief totems. Looking at builds on the internet, people seem to use Ink AoE linked with it, but why though? Don't understand what Ink AoE really does, since the totem themselves don't have AoE, do they?
Yes.
They definitely do.
Next
have
question.
AoE tag.
I'm just kidding.
It's
just faster clear speed. That's all.
Yeah, they usually just use that as a swap, like Ink AoE for like clearing, and Conk Effect for bosses. And if you're lazy, just leave Conk Effect in. If you're, not, then you can just do the swap real quick, and then it's usually good to go.
Yep, on a War Chief, they usually favor towards Conk, but AoE helps definitely on that clear speed.
It's a lot better with unarmed. Like the difference is a lot, like just more noticeable when you're unarmed facebreakers versus when you're like a two-handed axe, just because of the way that weapon range works. So it's really not that big of a deal on weapon, but unarmed it's huge.
Shout out to my homeboys at Reddit, by the way.
Show.
I have a question we can talk about.
What's that?
So there's a guy on Reddit that asks. This guy's name is Guyka, I think, Guyka. He says, "Just starting. Any tips or tricks you guys can give me?"
Are you going to respond to him on Reddit as well, or no?
Sure.
If you send me the link, I can type to him a response.
I mean, there's a lot of good answers here. I was just gonna kind of like just flag this one for like, hey, this is a good answer. Or are we going for questions that people actually don't have an answer to? I guess that probably makes more sense.
I mean, if there's no answer to it.
No, there is. There's a really good answer for it, so I guess we can.
I mean, depending on what build you're starting.
I think nothing about builds, just general tips. Like use po.trade, you watch Ziggy D's videos, like stuff like that.
Div card hunting
is really
effective for a newer player.
Is
like just if you need like a certain specific item, then that may be out of your budget range or whatever. Like div card hunting is a very good way to farm for certain stuff.
Don't listen to this guy. Div cards are not in the game. Continue on.
Lol.
Div cards are the worst fucking implementation of anything in this game.
Oh, I love div cards.
They're the fucking worst.
So you have to deal with it.
Yep. No, what I'm saying is don't spend your time farming div cards that are never gonna drop.
It depends on the div card.
Like the offering, you can go hit that in Scriptorium, put it on Twin Boss. That thing has a pretty decent drop rate on it. I was testing it out because I didn't believe it. And I hit like 2 pretty quick. Like I was like, all right, that's enough to convince me that
it depends on like don't be going for headhunter cards because those probably you can, but the likelihood of those dropping not really gonna happen. Stuff like Celestial Justica or the 6th link and the Catacombs tile set, that has a good chance. That's a decent chance of dropping, and it's a 6th link to get you started as a new player.
If I may add, I think it really just depends if you're talking about a league or in standard.
We only talk about league.
Yeah, we're in breach software right now, so we're pretty much primarily talking about league.
The div cards are so strong. I mean, before like a solo self-found person, they had no hope of really planning a build around shafts, getting a shafts going low life. That couldn't happen really. You had to get really lucky. Now you can target farm that thing. You can go after the offering cards, target farm it. Carve got 2.
Yeah, it's a really good way to plan your build if you're not very familiar with po-trade or like just the general value of things, which is okay. I mean, if you're a newer player, that's understandable. It gives you a way to like avenue to actually, find the items that you need, without, being susceptible to newer players or older players that tend to prey on you.
Wait a minute.
I mean, it's just rate class,
Wait a minute, though. I have an interesting point that I think could perhaps be relevant. you're all talking about this individual when they say they are
All
new
right,
to the
let's see.
game, that means
I had a
they are
question.
literally new. They
That's
don't
why I
even
said
know.
generalized
They don't
tips, and
even
you guys
know
kept going on
what
about
these
div
keys
cards.
are.
But I mean,
They don't know the
it's
relevance of
definitely something to
waypoints,
help a newer
and you're
player
talking
for
about
sure.
div
Like,
cards.
Examples of what this guy's looking for is websites to use for resources like the wiki, Huey.trade, good content creators like Ziggy D, Lifting Nerd
The
Bro, It's
diversity.
Yoji. It's just generalized
sure,
information
but
about
those
the
are
game in
resources.
general. They just want to know. There was a guy I read on Reddit that didn't even know you can link your skill gems with links, and he played till 60, level 60 with 0 links.
Well,
These are the
sure, but
general
I mean,
types of general questions
well,
that
it's
he
still
would have.
relativity. I mean, you don't know exactly what they need, so those are still some good tips for somebody that's in the game that is newer. That is still information that's beneficial.
But I highly doubt
Because,
a new player is going to be making a Shavs build.
well,
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
that's
it
true.
was just an example.
It's just an
No,
example.
and the reason why I say that div cards are bad is because I've made, I think, up to 5 level 90s, 2 are 92, and 1's 91, and I just now completed the Life Sprig divination card set.
Sure, but there's different div
Retarded.
card sets that are like actually farmable. There's
Oh, you
different
gotta
drop rates. Like you have that's very opinionated, which is fine. You've had a bad experience with div cards, but
A
personally
lot of
myself,
people.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
there's
depends
a
what you're
it's a
farming
split-
for though. Like,
split dock
I have a
rate for
really
sure.
cool other subject, unless somebody else has one, because I just had one. But this one actually is pretty really cool.
oh, let it roll.
So Microsoft is apparently making a Windows 10 game mode that will prioritize GPU and CPU resources to your game. The game mode's supposed to improve games frame rates across all games, whatever game's on your PC. They're actually building that. It's a direct function within Windows. They're also including things like a game bar. It's a toolbar similar to like your taskbar down at the bottom of the thing. And you're able to pull up things like screenshots, recording videos, broadcasting to Beam, which I guess is a Microsoft's Twitch competitor, amongst other things. And they also do it's got built-in streaming features for Beam, which I've never even heard of Beam before. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I wonder how effective this is going to be.
Yeah, it seems pretty good, I think.
Yeah, Beam's just an interactive, like Twitch kind of streaming service.
Yeah, apparently it's Twitch's competitor, which I've never heard of.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's not even completely like released.
So apparently you have to enable it on a game-by-game basis. You just open up the game bar, go to the settings, turn it on. It says Microsoft says that some games might be able to enable it automatically, but most aren't able to do that right now. I guess games might be able to have better performance by specifically like working with the game mode on Microsoft Windows 10. That'd be pretty cool. I like that Windows is going the game route because I think that'll bring in the console players because it'll make it a bit more similar to what they're used to. And I feel like console's fine, but if we could get more people to the PC, that's even better.
Well, I
There's
just think. All right.
Sorry, go ahead.
Early 2017 is the expected date, so that's pretty cool.
I mean, I think it's gonna like have a ripple effect, and a lot more people will come to PC just because Path of Exile will be exposed and be its own PC too. So a lot more gamers that haven't been aware of said game, they'll come look at it, check it out, and realize it's really awesome, and come play. You know.
Got a different question here. If you guys are ready for the next one.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, simple one, but it's probably gonna have your preferences. Best skill to use to generate power charges. It's not channeling.
I prefer to use the Orb of Storms, Power Charge on crit, Curse on hit, Input Curse for most characters.
I'd say as a melee build,
Or what's your preference then, Stress?
I think as a melee build, I'd probably like the level 1 cast and damage taken. I think it's level 7 or level 8 Blade Vortex. Power charge on crit, increase crit strikes. Seems to be up pretty often. Like melee, you're always in range for it, so it feels pretty nice. Like it's kind of automated.
Right. Any kind of power charge generation, like on block, those you generally disagree with using that, right?
unless you're like a gladiator with really high block and block recovery, it's amazing.
It would
Like,
work then if you had a
Like
high
for
enough block.
example, Boogie's build, Boogie Bear, he made a gladiator with a business and whatnot, crit build. He uses it on the surrender, but his block chance and block recovery chance is so high that he can just use it in the gem with reckoning, or in the shield with reckoning. So it's really cool.
So
yeah.
So for me, this league right now, I started with Shield Charge and then went to Whirling Blades. But I was doing one of those movement skills with Power Charge and crits, Fortify, faster attacks. But actually, when I had Shield Charge, I was doing Endurance Charge on melee stun with Fortify and Power Charge and crit, and that was really nice.
Yeah, I also second that. I got my Blade Flurry character. At one point, I was using the Orb of Storms, and it was a bit clunky. It worked, because, I mean, you only have to get a power charge every 16 seconds or so it's not that big a deal. But one of my viewers was like, why don't you just put power charge on crit on your shield charge? Because, I mean, if you're already a crit-based character, which I was, you're going to be critting on shield charge quite a bit as well, because you just have global crit. And I put that on there, and oh god, it's... Because, I mean, you're shield charging it, and since it's an AoE, it hits a broad number of people, and just by moving, you get power charges. So that's fucking great right there.
Yeah, and you have melee crit too, right? So
Of course,
it
yeah.
would scale with that in your weapon.
Yeah, you can do exactly what Collab said. Just easy setup. It's great.
And if it's for like a bow character, I usually use like Split Arrow with something like that.
You
for
can even
Peacock or whatever.
You can even use like Frenzy for like your off skill, like use Frenzy, GMP, Power Charge on crit, and if you need increased crits, throw that in there. So you can generate both Frenzy and Power Charges.
So here's a really
Go ahead.
Or I'm sorry. Here's a really good quick question. Are there any good Scion builds?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh really?
I'm in the work of one.
The one that comes to mind right now that's been solidified as being pretty decent, Scion Essence Drain. You get a free projectile from Deadeye, and I think they go... I'm not sure on the second Ascendancy, but I'm guessing they would go like Occultist or something with Energy Shield maybe, but...
You go Occultist or Trickster.
Yeah, so you get the double projectile. Some people like that play style just because it's easier to hit things, because one Essence Drain, if you miss, it kind of sucks. But it also helps for clear speed as well if you have two projectiles going out every time. And then the only other one that comes to my mind that I haven't done yet, but I think it still would be good, is a Hierophant totem build with Scion. It doesn't really matter what skill, but anything with Hierophant and then maybe Chieftain or Slayer or whatever would be pretty good, or Assassin.
I'm actually planning in the works for a Scion build with Hierophant and Assassin. A two-handed axe flush ripper crit build, so it's pretty crazy, but Scion's the best way to do it. So like near the min-maxing, like Scion's really good because you get extra points. You get about 3 extra points, and then you save a lot of points of travel. So it could be upwards like 10 to 12 points you're saving just because of that one ascendancy choice. But you kind of sacrifice the ascendancy for it at that point, you know.
Not to mention the interaction with Bringer of Rain.
Yeah.
At this point, the way the game is structured, I think you can make a Scion work even in the end game and not be too bothered.
I think it's better in min-maxing, but yeah.
Like
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Boo.
Or go ahead, Dicey. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say the min-maxing of it. Sure, you could probably find a better, ascendancy class, and it might be stronger, it might be faster. Does the Scion work? Sure, you could make it work.
I feel like
she's the jack of all trades. She shouldn't really ever beat any class because they're specialized in what they do.
One thing.
She should never. That's why a lot of people are like, "Oh, you need to fix Scion. She's useless." No, she's a niche class that's designed to join two classes together and be a jack of all trades. Jack of all trades are never a master. That's why it's jack of all trades, master of none. Well, I know, but that's why that was a problem.
If you're a very point-heavy build, she's potentially the best because she does get you insane point value. So if you're not worried about the ascendancy, like the points are more valuable than the ascendancy, she's phenomenal. Like she's the pick. But if you're trying to specialize in one aspect, like the elementalist ignite, prolith, like that's going to be obviously a better choice.
And not to mention is before they added points with Uber Lab, Scion was actually the go-to ascendancy.
Yep.
And so Boo, what topic did you have? You had a question?
I have an answer to that as well.
Okay, go for it.
So a while back, before Ascendancy started, I made a build which turned into a Mjolnir, which was originally Scion, mainly because of her location for jewels, because I require at least 17 or more jewels of Aziri's Reign, if you don't know what that is. And so once I implemented Mjolnir into the build itself, I needed attributes I could not get as my Juggernaut, which I actually settled with my Juggernaut in the end because I wanted the endurance charges at an easy rate. But
Sure.
the Scion is extremely competitive for that exact same situation. Also, using Shaper's Gloves would be ideal if you wanted to get those attributes.
Yeah, I think that's. So I think that's how Scion is definitely a viable option in array class for sure.
Yep.
Let's see.
I've got a pretty cool one. What do you
If
guys
wanna
think
play
about them
Sorry,
adding
go ahead.
in a crafting belt? Like we have a flask belt, and then a crafting belt would have I don't know how many slots, maybe 5 slots to the left of the potions, where it would have like wisdom scrolls, trans orbs, portal scrolls, etc.
Instead
talk
of
of this
Oh,
for-
that'd be
There's
so
been talk
cool.
of that. There's been talk of that for a while, but it usually gets presented as to the left of your flask when you open up your inventory.
That's what I just
If you were
said.
to make, yeah,
No.
not a flat, not a belt though.
When I say belt, I
It's-
just mean in flavor.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
It's a crafting
I'm
belt.
just saying what it's been presented as in the
Yeah,
past, because that has been an idea that has been regurgitated, type of thing. And
Honestly,
it's
that's
been a
amazing.
solid idea since it was presented.
just to
they should
keep
do
your
it.
inventory space full. I think it's an awesome idea.
Yeah, there's
Sure,
empty
there's
space
some
there.
D2 nostalgia going back to having an inventory full of flasks and crap, but yeah, PoE is kind of moving in a different direction than that now.
Well, they kind of have to. I mean, they have to
Right.
keep upgrading and keep making it better and better
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah, I kind of wish for an unset belt with 2 sockets as the prefix.
That would be weird.
There's your cast damage taken Immortal Call. So
Yeah.
So I have a question off of Reddit. Somebody was asking, how do you deal with reflect with Hawa?
Personally, I made a Hawa build early on in the league, prior to a lot of the hype. I thought the claws were pretty cool. Me and a friend were drunk. We decided to make a build. It was actually pretty cool. We went Elementalist to also prevent ourselves from killing each other on Reflect. And it worked. I mean, when you have 50% reduced Reflect, you're fairly safe. It's still somewhat sketchy with no Leech, but with Leech and Vault Pact, 50% less damage taken from Reflect. That's golden. You never die from Reflect. I don't know if you can do a
Otherwise,
Reflect
if you're
map,
already-
but
There's
If
there's
you're
only
doing
other. Go ahead, Dicey.
If you're doing, say, like crit or something where the reflect can really start spiking on you, right? Say you have a crit lightning damage, that can really get some spiky reflect for you, even on a single target. You really need the leech. Like,
Yeah.
if you
think
got to be
there's-
able to identify that reflect pack. You got to look for that. It's pretty obvious when you see that reflect emblem on the pack, and you got to hit your Vinktars.
There's one way.
Like,
I mean,
that's how I found it. Otherwise, you're just gonna be hard pressed.
yeah.
Especially
the
on
only
a,
other
like a crit assassin.
the only other way is if you get your leech percentage higher. So the way it works with reflect is when the leech you get from Vault Pact, if the amount of leech you leech is higher than the amount of damage reflected, that will be the net. So if you leech, let's just say you leech 100,000 and the damage is 99,500, you're gonna get a net of 500 life gained, and then you won't die. That's just the mechanic on behind Vault Pact, which would make you be able to survive the reflect.
you're forgetting one thing too.
What's that?
There's an essence that you can put 10% reduced elemental or reflect damage on your rings, making elementalist possibly 70% reduced reflect, or Slayer 70% reduced fizz.
or Sybil's Lamont.
That's some craziness.
Yeah,
right
but
there.
you're not gonna be using Howa with Sybils.
Yeah.
You don't know that?
Ew.
Ew, yeah.
Just the fact that you can craft.
It's
the
got wet
essence
on
rings,
it.
So
Yeah. If you get
Opal
lucky and
ring.
craft the GG on the Opal ring and just everything you want and that.
You know, with the prefix or suffix.
I'm not saying
Using
it's
my own
good.
word.
I'm just saying it's an option. Okay.
You know if
Actually,
that
we
S
are
is a
exploring.
prefix or suffix?
Yeah, we are exploring options. So let's see.
It's
That
horrible.
kind of
man.
matter when trying to
So
craft that thing.
let's
on
talk
how
about
it
a.
go.
I had a question about a good lab farmer.
Where are you gonna find one of those?
Well,
then?
we have
No kidding.
a discussion coming up, so let's avoid that topic for now.
But we will address it.
Yeah, we're gonna have a really nice video with Lifting Nerd Bro and the team, so keep an eye out for that, guys.
All right.
Oops, spoilers.
Got him. What are your guys' thoughts on an auction house in the game? Are you for or against it, and why?
Depends on its implementation.
I think it's better
really
than
would.
Potrade, honestly. Potrade's practically an auction house. It's just really bad.
Right. It would be a shame if GGG took over trading responsibilities and it somehow was a downgrade from what the system that we currently have. Like, I think everybody agree that wouldn't be advantageous.
I mean, honestly, with the Xbox
just
port
because
coming out,
GGG, right? Just if GGG taking something over doesn't make it automatically an improvement. It still has to, they still have to be able to program something that is it's more responsive, more uptime, better ability to detect online, offline, AFK, in lab, those kinds of distinctions. Sure, I'd be really into it.
Since it's based on the community's value of how much something is worth in the game, I'm worried that there would be more price manipulation than what PoE already happens on PoE trade.
At the medium levels, yeah, definitely. Like at the items worth 10, 15 chaos will devalue. It'll be saturated, the market. High value items though, they've already been targeted for a while now. There's already sophisticated systems out there.
Yeah, if you go to look,
Or
yeah, there's
more.
actually, I was reading a Reddit post the other day, and it apparently is a very elaborate, easy way to control the market, completely automated, and the only thing you have to do is accept the trade in game. Pretty, with Trade Helper, you get a notification that pops up. Pretty easy to do that, fortunately. I really like this one. What do you guys think about a reverse exalt, where it completely randomly removes an affix from an item?
That's scary.
Val Exalt.
That could
That's
be
Yeah,
so
fun.
essentially
scary.
Val Exalt.
Wait, so then you could do something like prefixes cannot be changed.
Yeah,
Not
it-
that
yeah,
thing.
you would just
that'd be
make
cool.
it so where
I
it
love
would
it.
ignore
Suffix.
I
that.
love it.
No, just make
Yeah.
it so it ignores it.
That would make
Oh,
crafting
no.
too strong.
Make it like an essence. No, it wouldn't.
I'm sure we can
make
find
them-
ways to abuse it.
Well, they could no make it as rare as an
Essence
exalt.
of its theory.
And make it to the point where the master crafts, just like essences, they completely bypass it. Nothing's affected by that. That'd be pretty cool, I think. Somebody was calling it Orb of Greed. I kind of liked that.
Yeah, that is greedy as hell going for that shit. Like,
I mean, well, you exalt that max mana, and you're like, but if I can only remove that max mana, this chest piece has a chance. Do I
You
use
lose
the
that
Orb of
T1
Greed or do I not?
you lose that T1 hybrid. Just slaughtered.
And it's completely randomized, like prefix, suffix, fucking whatever. You could
I
even
think
make
that
it so that it
could
could
be
brick the
fun.
item too. That would make it completely greedy.
Oh, for sure.
It could
like,
just make it go
losing-
white.
I'm sure
Oh.
you could find a way to balance it. That would
Go
be
make
fun.
a one affix rare and then Orb of Greed it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and Orb of Greed, it tells nothing. Till it's a rare that's white. Or just technically blank.
What do you think, Vag?
I have no idea.
You're not a
I
big crafter?
question, do you think they would
I don't
make a
craft
new
enough.
orb, or do you think it would just be like a mastercraft or vendor recipe with exalts and val orbs, for example?
That'd be pretty cool. You sell either a number or one Vol Orb and an Exalt, and you get a Orb of Greed or whatever you want to call it. It'd be actually pretty sweet.
it definitely make crafting more chaseable for
It'd
like
be-
days and stuff.
I think it'd be crafting more
just said-
interesting.
be careful at the high levels to not make it exploitable. That kind of a system.
I think it would have to bypass prefixes cannot be changed.
Yeah, I think so too. That'd
Like,
be
that's
one
the only
easy
way.
way around it.
Otherwise, it would just be everyone just I'm gonna mirror items.
Like, I'm trying to think how I would abuse it already.
Oh my gosh, hilarious.
I can't craft with Mastercraft mods on them.
Well, it just bypasses it, so it just like you could totally still, even if you have prefixes cannot be changed, still lose your GG roll.
Hey, so here's something I pulled off Reddit. This guy says, "Hi, I'm making a Cosprey's Malice and Cast on Crit Vortex build with my Trickster. I got a Shaz for the 30 more spell damage, but I was wondering if there's other things I could do to my damage. I'm just asking because I still have trouble with some bosses. Any input would be appreciated." And he put his profile and his character. I can link that in Discord if y'all want.
Yeah, if you could. So take a quick scan on it while we answer other questions.
Unfortunately for me, I've never made a Cosprey's build. I messed around with it on standard yesterday, trying to see if I can get 2 Cosprey's Malices and then go double Vortex, and trying to see if I can proc them both at the same time. And what I found with that, you can proc them both at the same time, but you need something that uses both weapons. Because if you're using Cyclone, it alternates, so it'll proc one, proc the other, proc one, proc the other, but it won't proc them at the same exact time. It's kind of what I was looking for.
It's really interesting when you use Flicker Strike, Multi-Strike. Let's see, Dual Strike's cool.
But I'm
Whirling
guessing
Blades
he's
alternates.
using the standard Cyclone on single target bosses. Unfortunately, the Cosprey's nerf is just that. It's more difficult on a single target. It's not meant to do single target that well. The build is designed to do extremely fast, clear content. Bosses are going to be a bit more difficult. And if you look at any streamer that's doing it right now, their boss kill versus their standard AoE map clear kill is just completely different. I mean, they're doing discharge. Discharge is just stronger than Vortex.
Yeah, discharge. I would do like a discharge. I would do like discharge for sure. Discharge is better. Like, I would do discharge in your cast on crit link, and then I would do so it doesn't proc constantly, so you can actually build up some charges, and then I would do a variant of like vortex in your main hand, like you have, and then yeah, cast on damage taken. I don't get the you have cast on damage taken, summon ice golem, and increased crit strikes in your shield. I don't really understand what were you trying to go with that, or are you just leveling it? Because there's a couple of gems that aren't. Like, I don't even know how you're generating your. I guess Assassin's Mark. And you have 2 vortexes in your cast and damage, or it's blood magic in your helm. So, I guess you're just leveling a bunch of stuff. You could probably just reorientate your gem links because they seem suboptimal from what I'm looking at
Well,
based
what
on your
I'm
profile. So
looking at is flammability, blasphemy, assassin's mark. So I mean, that's how he's doing his assassin's mark at least.
He's doing double curse.
But then he has power charge on crit just sitting there by itself.
yeah,
Nice. It doesn't work
I
that way.
I would put power charge and crit on your shield. Shield charge. I do shield charge, increase crit strikes. I drop the additional accuracy on your shield charge and put increased crit or power charge on crit there. And then on your shield, I'd put like cast and damage taken level 1 with blade vortex, power charge and crit, because you want to get as many power charges as you can, and then I would put discharge in your main cast on crit link, so you'll be at max power charges almost every time you pop your discharge. That's what I personally would do.
I think Renoster has the staple to go to.
The what?
Cast damage taken, Blade Vortex, Power Charge and Crit.
Yeah, but the thing is he wants as many things to generate power charges because he's going to be blowing them up. So he's going to have huge discharges.
I understand.
But I mean, I think
So-
he picked Vortex to be the special snowflake to not have to use discharge.
Right.
I think changing his skill doesn't solve his question. His question is, how does he make Vortex better?
Right. I agree.
Maybe Pyre, do double conversion, try to do.
So he's doing low life. Okay.
Well, that's the only
But
way he's
got
going to really
fire now.
be able to do more damage single target. Like Vortex is like you can't do like crazy on Cospreys at least. It's very limited. Unless you want to put it in your main 5 link.
Does he
But
have what's his accuracy like?
That's a good question.
yeah,
Is it since he's using Cospreys, right? He needs the accuracy.
Well, he's
And
able to
using
proc
additional
that thing.
accuracy on his
I would also swap
On
out
his 6 link.
Conk Effect
on
for
his shield charge.
Ink AoE for Vortex in your deal. I also think Life Leech, if you can get Leech somewhere else, you want to put another support there, because you basically have no supports for your Vortex on the Cospreys. Cospreys helps with the flat added, but you have to have some supports there. It's just not going to do much. And you're Assassin, so I would probably try to maybe do like a Herald of Ice, Herald or a Herald of Thunder, like Curse on Hit with Warlord's Mark, so you can get some more Leech, because you want the damage there. If you don't have damage supports, you can't do damage basically. And you already have Pyre, so the more damage you do, it's going to double dip on the Ignite, the more supports you have there.
Oh, he's already using Pyre.
Yeah, so he'll build, so with Discharge and the
Well, I don't think he needs a
supported,
discharge really.
I mean,
Well, if he's gonna use Cospreys, then
if he's going to use Cospreys, I'm just trying to help him
Yeah.
maximize, like,
if
do
he
more damage on there, like Discharge
Right.
helps.
yeah, on the Cospreys, if you want to get away from the Cospreys, and if he was having issues with accuracy,
Yeah.
right, you want to drop accuracy altogether, you'd go with a Vagan Dagger with spell damage on it, so you get the hits can't be evaded, right? Then your shield charge
But
hits every time.
you lose a lot of damage. Like, that's the only
What
way
is
you
this
did
single
Cospreys.
target setup?
I was doing it last league, and that low life with Vagan Dagger, trust me, you're doing enough damage.
It's just like,
It's
if he wants to
for
use
real.
like, I don't know. So what do you want to do exactly? Does he want to still use Cospreys? Like, I just want to, like, I don't want to deviate from exactly what he wants to do. I think
I have no
Discharge
idea
will
because
help
it's on
single
Reddit.
target. So, like, I mean, ideally, if he wants to use Cospreys, Discharge is the way to do single target. Like, it's just, and he has enough links available
Right.
to actually run the Blade Vortex Power Charge on crit. Like, he has enough links to do it. Like,
Well, we got
no
a
problem.
question in chat.
Okay,
You want me to go ahead
let's
and
hear
read
that. Yeah, read that out, please.
it? Okay, so Octodecimal says he's running a Lightning Kinetic Blast Pathfinder with VP. What's VP?
Ball
Vol
pack?
Power Siphon?
Vol
Or Val,
Pact
Vol Pact, yeah, Vol Pact.
or Val Power Siphon. One of the two.
It's probably Vol Pact. It's
And
probably Vol Pact.
Perma Victor's up. When I encounter a rare in a red map, say T12, that has Ellie Reflect, I sometimes see my damage go down quite hard, even though I have Victor's up. I think he means his life. His life go down. 50% plastic effect as well. How is this possible? Does overkill damage hurt you? I've heard something like that. Thanks for the response. Also, I res capped. My damage is 90% lightning, and Victor's brings my lightning res to 84%.
You may just have a really good crit, depending on your crit multi. Like, it doesn't matter what the health of the mob is. Ellie Reflect will do percentage based on the hit on Reflect.
And the thing about using lightning is it has a very wide range on the damage it can do. Then you use it by your throw it by your crit multi. You can get a small reflect or a very very large spike of reflect on you with lightning. Back in the day on Arc, you used to go resolute technique in order to prevent yourself from critting because the reflect was that dangerous on a lightning build. Nowadays on the single target, that's not the deal, but lightning is still the one to be most concerned about, especially on crit.
Yeah, it's just sometimes you do so much damage, like, it doesn't matter unless you're like putting leech like there.
Yeah, he might need more lightning res somehow. If his damage is really that good,
Purity.
maybe purity.
Hey man, maybe you should just back out of your damage.
Dude, you're just the
So you don't
Just
kill
take your
yourself.
build and then redo it completely. I don't know. What do you guys think
Yeah,
of
I
a
think
hideout
it's just-
target dummy?
Doing too much damage.
That'd be cool.
Hideout target dummy.
Yep, that actually has a set amount of hit points or even has the only thing that displays damage numbers or something. Because me personally, coming from Diablo, obviously I played Diablo prior to this, and they've always had combat text. Well, no, was it only in 3 that they had combat text? Either way, I like floating combat text. I liked it in Grim Dawn. I liked it in Diablo 3. I enjoy seeing big numbers. I enjoy that. That makes me feel happy. When I hit for a billion or whatever the fuck, it's great. I think that I know that GGG has a thing against it, and I know that a lot of the elitists are like, it's shit. Fuck combat number text. Just throws over everything on your screen. And where I do agree that with as much that goes on in Path of Exile, it would be shit. But when you have skills that don't give you accurate numbers at all, like for instance, summon raised skeleton or summon raised spirits.
Thank you.
You have no idea how much damage they're doing at all. You can guess. You can maybe calculate it with going to the wiki, using the base damage, and then looking at everything in your build, calculating that. Or
Get
they
your
can
Excel
just
sheet out.
And even then, you're probably still wrong.
the biggest one the biggest one is the I played a Molten Strike build. That one's fun to calculate DPS with. There's a really big, nice spreadsheet for that. It's just, I don't know. I would like an idea where the combat, the hideout target dummy would solve a lot of the problems while still making it clean. But apparently,
just like
microtransaction.
MTX for your hideout.
But doesn't Leech and Valpact and Res Cap prevent your health from going down? I would say no, because you're still taking damage. I mean, you can't mitigate 100% of the lightning damage.
Yeah, your res is mitigating 75 to 76, depending if you have any max res, and the rest of that you're taking. So
Well,
if you do 100,000 damage and you have 76%, you're gonna do 24,000 damage to yourself. Now you have to leech that.
You have to outleech it with Volpact, or you
But
get
it's
hit
going to be
for
at
it.
84. But yeah, same principle.
Depending on your crit multi, it might not even matter. You're probably just gonna get wrecked. Like,
And again, it could be just you're catching. The time you see it, you might be catching that spike.
if you hit the top end of your damage in a good crit, it's very likely with lightning that you could kill yourself because they have such a wide disparity in damage.
And say you didn't get the leech that you needed on the surrounding packs. Yeah, I can see yourself hitting really hard, taking a ton of damage.
I have a decent question after this topic.
Sure.
We're ready.
Go for it.
Okay, we all keep suggesting what we should do for new players and everything, but what about something that we've experienced that is a no-no we should not do as a new player?
Level of CI.
Level of C is a good one. Don't do
Things-
How about
that.
just even
things they
play
shouldn't
CI
do as a new
period
player?
as your first character? I mean, I just
Yeah.
don't think that's a good idea.
Well, yeah,
personally.
generally, yeah. Like, CI is, it's
It's expensive and it's more for a skilled player, in my opinion.
I think it just requires game knowledge. And newer
It's like the
players probably
Scion.
won't.
There's a reason why they won't let you go Scion right off the bat.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend Scion to a new player at all. Like, it's purely min maxing at that point, and
And that's what those new players go for, because that's the character that's unlocked, you know? And that's what they want to play.
When does that actually unlock again?
You have to save her in the Scepter of God.
I think it's Merciless you save her, or Merciless or Cruel.
Is it Merc? Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the two. It's Act 3 for sure.
It's on the way to Dominus. By that,
We did that
like,
so long
lightning
ago.
thing.
Yeah, I don't remember. To be honest with you.
There's this, yeah, it's Scepter of God too. But once you get that, you're like, oh, the new character. I must play this one because it must be good, because you have to unlock it.
Right, and it's a trap.
Yeah, at least right now, for sure. I mean, back then, yeah, it was great to play it. That was the one that you went to.
Times.
Yeah, now
There
it's
were
a little,
times.
now it's a little more just numerically like advantage. It's not for the getting your feet wet build or class at all.
I would say a big no-no for a lot of these players is don't look up the wrong build. I mean, they look up builds from a long time ago, and
That is
you
true.
know, it's the right patch, and that really sucks. I feel sorry for that because I mean, fuck, you spend all this time on a build and then you find out later, you know, it's not working. Why is it not working? Oh, it got nerfed. Well, I didn't know.
I also feel like watching a popular streamer and trying to replicate the build without understanding it and getting frustrated with the results. You just don't know how to play the build, and it may look like, you know, this fight's a breeze, but like newer players have to understand those players are very skilled at the game. So when you try to replicate that, you may not have the skill level to replicate it to that level, you know. Like the Namahu's build, you know, like people were killing, like, you know, people were killing Shaper with it, and the new players are trying to kill Shaper and they can't because they just don't understand, or they just don't have, you know, the game knowledge to push it to that level.
Wow. He's just making it so you can only have one instance of Blade Vortex active in 2.6.
Well, that's
Oh,
about
I'll
right.
have to recolor my boots.
That's fair. That's fair.
It is fair. I'm just saying that's interesting.
Yeah, it's just getting gimmicky. Like we've just
Well,
been getting free
I
stacks.
just watched I just watched the Shaper fight, and he literally burnt it down within like 2 seconds each phase.
Right.
Pretty OP.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
I mean, because can't you just do something ridiculous to like faster casting and spell echo or some shit?
Well, you just
and
ca-
not
what
have
is
one
what
link?
the trick is, you just have a level 1, stack it to 20, and then cast your level 20, your high mana cost one. So the way Blade Vortex works right now is that no matter what stacks you have, you get the more spell damage per stack. So your level 20 acts like you've cast level 20, but level 20 or 20 of the level 20s, but it's really 19 level 1s
Right.
that do no damage. But the moment you cast that level 21, it does insane damage. Now this guy took it a step further and put 2 level 20s that share a 5 link, casts 18 or 20. We'll say you cast 20 level 1s, and then cast each 5 link. And I guess for some reason they do double damage if they're in the same 5 link because they're 2 separate instances of level 20 damage. It's weird. I don't know. But they're fixing it, so that's good.
Yeah, I had a viewer have a question. He was wondering if max block cast when stun CI or like low life.
Wait, I'm sorry. What was the question?
Okay, so he was wondering if like going high, really high block, cast when stunned, and then going like ES variant, so you block the stunning hits. He was asking if that's viable.
I mean, there's a build I've seen on YouTube that was cast while stunned, and it seemed to work.
That was way back in the day, though.
Oh, this was recently. This was like last patch or last game or last league.
Mm. I mean, I know
can't say
there's
how
like
great it
Scold's
is.
variants, but they nerfed the Scold's variant ones.
I'd definitely say go Resolute Technique so you can't, so you get hit by everything, but at least block it.
Oh, unwavering stance.
Yeah, there we go. Sorry, unwavering stance. You're
So
right.
you can't be stunned. You want to get stunned,
So
or you want to block a stunning hit, I guess. Because if
Oh
you
wait,
block
then
a
I was
stunning
right.
hit, it's still proc. So you do not want unwavering stance.
I mean, could go Skyforce and have 0 mana. That'll do it.
Oh, blood magic with Skyforce.
cast on stun.
Yeah, Volpact. Use a health pot.
But
Well,
I
yeah,
like the sound of it.
You
I say
just
go
can't.
for
You
it.
can't use skills at that point because you won't be able to regen the.
Elrion rings, man. Elrion
Actually,
rings.
you have to go low life, but yeah, Elrion rings, and it'd be next level craziness, I believe. All right, let's see.
Anybody have any other questions anywhere
Let
that
me
you'd
see.
like to bring up? And how long would you guys like to do this? Coming up at the top of the hour pretty soon.
Yeah,
I think an hour is good.
But we can keep on and keep it on. It's
I need
up
to
to
eat,
y'all.
my brother.
What the
What about
hell is
future
that?
plans?
Eat?
I think an hour is fine. Like I said, I think anything over an hour is people lose attention.
New question here. Maybe call it the last one.
All right, that's
Good build suggestion with Taming Emberwake. Go.
I was actually just theory crafting a build that I wanted to do. Never got around to really testing it, but I can throw the theory craft out there, and I think in theory it should work fine. Zoph's Nurture, the new Zoph's bow. Nurture's the upgraded one, right? The upgraded Zoph's bow gives you 50% conversion for physical to fire, and then you use Signal Fire. Obviously use the Taming Ember Wake, and then Barrage. I think Barrage with the extra jewels and then the helmet enchant. You're hitting so fast. You should be able to stack those ignites super fast. And if you went crit variant with Inquisitor, you're now bypassing all their res. I don't know. Figured that'd be pretty decent.
Could even use Diadem for faster ignites as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't put that into perspective because that actually, it's kind of like an increase in damage because it speeds it up.
I actually have a quick question after all this part.
You got a idea, Strez?
for the Taming Emberwake. I feel like Elementalist will just maximize the efficiency of taming, like just because you're 100%, like 50% of the time, you're no matter what you're doing, you're gonna ignite. So maybe like I would personally like to do like a full conversion Blade Vortex. Like Avatar or Zoth's Blood, like Call of Brotherhood, and probably Cold the Fire, and do something like that. And Blade Vortex.
The lightning.
Yeah. Just the full conversion package. It's just really strong, I think. And with the extra pen and the permanent ignites, all those Blade Vortexes hitting, well, the rapid attacks of them, the frequency of them hitting, I think it would create a lot, and it would just kind of ramp up the damage to a huge proportion, especially if you have duration entry. It'll make the ignites last longer, and Blade Vortexes last long, or Blade Vortex stacks last longer. So I believe it would be potentially crazy if you can get the right setup for it.
The problem with your theory is that the old Blade Vortex, that would have worked amazingly. The new one, it's more like bop, 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 bop. It's not like anymore.
You'd have to
Depends
have
on
like
cast
20
speed.
stacks up.
In order
Yeah,
to
that's
in
how
order
it
to
makes.
maximize the taming, apparently you have to ignite like 8 times. I don't know what I want to say. I don't want to say per second, but there's like there's a threshold of where you actually need to be able to ignite in order for Emberwake to be worth it.
I would
Need to-
also use like casting damage taken level 1 setup, like Firestorm, like just stuff that has lots of hits.
Yeah,
To
you need to
just
hit a
ramp
lot.
it up as well. Like you'd have to use other stuff to set up the combo, but with the right setup, like on level 1 casting damage taken, or like it could just get to a crazy level if you have like enough. Like I'd say even like going to like 2 4-link casting damage takens, like just with those little setups, just to maximize the hits. The Blade Vortex setup in the 6-link could potentially get you there.
Back when Incinerate was a thing, it used to be kind of good with that combo.
Oh yeah.
That's my supporting question. Is at what point is Emberwake dealing more damage with the ignites than you would without it?
I think like 40 stacks. Like after that, it gets pretty crazy.
Yeah, there was a formula that somebody had posted that you need to ignite. I want to say it's 8 times a second in order for it to be worth it, but I don't. I'll try to find it.
With increased duration, duration definitely helps that variable as well.
The reason I ask is I'm considering using some type of Scorching Ray totem, multiple totems actually, using Emberwake.
Scorching Ray doesn't ignite.
Yes.
The guy has a
Scorching Ray is
follow up.
just a gen.
Do you want to take that one?
Yeah. He was saying that what about using Barrage with Cool Rain and the Glove of Insanity to stack
Oh,
knights on bosses and use EA on swap for a big hit?
I
Main setup
actually.
is EA in your bow, he said.
Oh
And
my
the gloves would
gosh.
be Barrage with GMP, faster attack, chance
know,
to ignite.
He is my new best friend. I just got inspired. Oh my gosh.
Get that
Before
guy
you
in here.
said that, I was thinking I was just thinking Incinerate the whole time because of the Castwall channeling. Castwall channeling Incinerate something.
I
That's all
have
I was
I have
thinking of.
I have the build, I think. All right. So you go Zoss Blood, you go Signifier. So that's 100% conversion right there to fire. And then you go probably Ranger, you go Deadeye, you stack straight Proj, and you just barrage with that, and you just stack it, get as many jewels as you can for the thresholds, and you just do pure fire, and then just stack it with barrage, and you get additional projectile and the Deadeye, and then if you can get additional projectile signifier and additional projectile on there, you can actually use a
Enchant.
reach of the council. Yeah, you can also use reach of the council too.
The reason why I recommended Zoft's Nurture is because of since you're igniting everything, it gives you free proliferation, and you get an insane amount of life gained per every time you ignite.
Sure,
So,
that's also awesome.
Since you're barraging, you would go life-based in this scenario, but since you're barraging so fast and you're igniting consistently, it's like you don't even need leech. You could get leech, but you don't need it. You don't need Volpact because it's life gained on hit. It's essentially not. It bypasses that completely. I think it'd be interesting, but I like the other recommendation as well. Definitely two different ways you can go.
He's
More than
also
2 ways.
talking 11 arrows per volley.
There's also, go ahead, Veg.
I was gonna say 1 arrow on the quiver, 2 on the helmet for the enchant, 4 with GMP, and 4 for barrage. So 11 arrows per
Plus
volley.
the jewels.
Plus the jewels, like 2 per jewel, and you could probably get 3 to 4.
And there's a helmet
So-
enchant as well.
The helmet though does the additional projectiles to the barrage though,
Yeah, that's
not
what you want.
additional arrows.
It's the same thing. Every projectile counts, right? I mean,
Yeah, every projectile is a hit. So that's new build. Building up a tree right now. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
That's
Okay,
3
Yeah,
Right with barrage.
Oh my goodness, you have inspired me. Why? Alright. I hate Ranger too, but
Jewel won't work because they add on the side.
it's still projectiles. They hit.
Could go Ranger or not Ranger.
You
Fucking
could go
And they can't.
Scion.
He says they can't at the same time.
Scion or
Fucking-
Juggernaut.
I'm already looking at Scion.
the frenzy one.
Raider.
Raider. There you go.
Raider would be really insane too because the every frenzy charge is a multiplier for your main damage and your ignite, as
Attack
well as the
speed.
attack speed. And
It's true,
It's-
and then you don't have to use frenzy and don't stop. Just barrage, and
So they
after the
can't-
veil.
He said they can't hit the same target, not for the boss.
Well, then you can use tornado shot.
Mm.
Fortunately, I have the legacy gloves for this.
Does anyone know Severed in Sleep would work with your Animate Guardian?
yeah, it
Yes.
does. It gives him poison.
No, I mean, can you give your Animate Guardian Severed in Sleep?
Oh,
Sure.
And it has
Oh,
Sahara.
holy shit, that's another question I have. Sorry.
You can't. You can't, but he won't give your minions poison. He can't cast auras by himself. Like,
Oh, you have to cast Aura. It's not like
yes.
no,
So,
no, he's talking about the Severed in Sleep's the unupgraded version. It doesn't give you envy, but it gives you. This is your minions deal poison damage still.
But it's not it's not the anime.
The Animate Guardian has
I'm
no
not.
minions.
I know. I'm saying that's why it wouldn't work. It's not because it
Yeah.
can't cast an aura. There's no aura to cast. It's just because it has no minions.
And then even if you use United and Dream, you can't cast the aura because
He might be able to have poison, but that's about it. Maybe.
All right,
Yeah.
here's a video that he wanted you guys to see. It's a 10-second video. This is with totems. Oops.
It's in the.
It's in general chat.
It's off dead in 3 seconds.
Throw that up on my screen.
I
Seems
mean,
fun.
did they explain it?
Well, that's range attack totem right there.
With what
Oh my
though?
gosh, you can use range attack totem too with that, and just use skirmish. Because you don't even need full fire conversion to
Can I
make
not?
barrage stack or Emberwick to stack either. Oh man. Yeah, he uses
Wow.
skirmish and drops 2, or does he drop 3?
That was pretty nasty.
There's 3.
How
I
do you
mean,
get the third
soft's
one?
pretty easy. I'd like to see it against like higher HP bosses.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
but
pretty
still,
still
it's
fast.
not
But
that
it was pretty fast.
Yeah, he's got 3.
Look
Hmm.
in the comment of the video.
Oh, he's got the ironwood bow. That's maybe. Wait, why wouldn't Barrage doesn't hit more than the first one?
Ancestral Bond. Skirmish. Range attack totem linked to barrage. Chancing life. Fast protect. GP and wed. Most likely using a reach the council and the dying sun.
Wait. So wait, who said that barrage can't hit the target? It can potentially hit the target up to 12 times when single target when using all the effects. It's just using additional projectiles plus the volley fire.
The same guy who was talking about this.
Yeah, there's no limit on that.
Seemed pretty strong. So, I mean,
Okay, so here's to explain to the guy that doesn't think this works. So if you go to the wiki, barrage is explained with additional projectiles. So it says linking lesser multiple or greater multiple to barrage will increase the total number of projectiles fired. Wearing a helmet enchanted with the additional barrage will further increase this total. All projectiles fired can strike the same target, potentially dealing damage up to 12 times to a single target when using all 3 effects. So yes, so using the barrage gem, the 1 base, 2 from LMP, helmet enchant, jewels, all that stuff. Volley fire, this jewel will fire an additional 4 projectiles per attack with the added projectiles spread to the side. Now these additional projectiles cannot strike the same target as the main projectiles. This is what he might be talking about. As the main projectiles and will in fact pass through them harmlessly. Multiple volley projectile jewels will add 4 more projectiles, each spreading out in a wider fan. So volley fire wouldn't do anything single target, so it wouldn't even be worth
volley
using.
fire's well, I mean, it could be just the.
he said, "Let me clarify for the volley fire exactly."
Okay, cool.
Okay.
And now
Volley
he's-
fire.
Yep,
Sure.
he's
So volley
exactly
fire's
right.
Yeah, sure. So we are both right in a sense. So you're just miscommunicating.
Talking about different things.
Yeah, we're like, wait a minute, yeah. So I did not know volley fire though. I thought that applied too. So
So did I. Yeah.
that's
Kind of shit.
still cool though. It's for clear speed basically.
Well, I
that
mean, like,
point.
I don't know if I would use volley fire as my main skill. I'd use tornado shot for like clearing, and then volley fire for
Maybe
single
barrage.
target.
Yeah, for sure. Or
Volley
I'd
fire
probably
for
I use
single
Valverde
target?
Garo at that point actually.
I don't know. My thought process with the tornado shot for AoE clearing is that you're gonna have it's gonna a tornado shot can hit the same target more than once. So firing it into everything and proliferating it with the Zoff's nurture, it's just widespread AoE clear, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Barrage single
Yeah.
target. I don't. For me, that's what I would go. I would try at least.
I'd say barrage single target for sure. I think the clear
Hey,
skill is probably preference at this point.
Yeah,
There's a
AoE
lot
skill
of
could be
skills
anything. It
to
could be fucking split arrow probably and still be fine.
yeah, honestly, with the setup. I'm definitely hooked because you guys. I'm making a tree as we speak because I'm just I can't be immune to this. So, would you pierce or would you just do the ricochet train or
You
you
guys are
actually the frenzy
awesome.
charges? Yeah.
Oh, you guys are awesome. That for sharing your thought on the subject. I think I will try it with EA since the damage burst is so big, and the taming ink will double dip on the explosion and on the burst or on the burn. Smash or pass me, mom, me non or me auntie Beranthiel.
Are you speaking English?
Bartholomew.
Berthaniel.
Wait, let me
Haniel.
look at your stream.
I don't know. Picture talk McKitchen where it didn't happen. But
Nice.
yeah, you got it, Plasma. That's what we're here for. We're gonna try to do a thing every Thursday where we do a little something like this, maybe some theory crafting on some people's builds like we just did with yours.
Oh, another person we didn't think about was Chieftain. Chieftain could be pretty good for that build as well.
Oh my gosh, yeah, with the fire leech.
You get a
too.
bunch of ignite
Oh, yeah.
chance. You get fire damage. You get life regen. You get life leech. You get penetration. You get extra 20% of your physical damage as extra fire damage. Pretty decent.
I think with the Zoth's nurture way, I think the chieftain's better. I think with the other way, I think the ranger's better.
I have something to add to that too. There, I forget which essence it is, but it can put 50% chance to ignite on your helm. And
Yeah.
you could easily put a ranged attack totem for boss fights in there.
Or even barrage. It's like
Oh,
50% chance to ignite. Like if you can
Oh,
get
man.
another 50 on the skill tree and your gear, that's 100% chance to ignite right there. Don't even need to go crit or anything.
I just thought of the idea here. You don't even have to go range attack to him. You go Siege Ballista. You go Scion, Hierophant, Deadeye. And you go Siege Ballista in the helmet for 3.
And then
Or
Skirmisher
range
for
attack
4.
totem, whatever. And then use Skirmish, yeah, for 3. And then you just
Using-
have your 2 6-links.
That's dude's using the Scion.
You can wait. What? 1 totem.
You can do
Skirmishers
the
2.
budget without something.
Because you
Hierophant's
get the Hierophant.
3, and then you can go Ancestral Bond 4.
But
Or
don't
are you
want
not making it a
Ancestral
full
Bond.
totem build?
Yeah, you just want the 3 for the taming trigger.
And why not have 4 for the taming trigger?
Well, yeah, but then you don't get to attack either.
Fine.
And then just relegate it to a 4-link instead of a 6-link. If you have, you'll do more damage if you have the 3 totems. They basically are just ramping up your damage, sort of. And then
Oh,
you
they're
just go
stacking
pew, pew,
ignites
pew.
for you, yeah.
Yes. So you have 3 things that's stacking ignites, pew 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 pew, and then
And
You're getting 10% damage every single ignite that's up there.
so that I think that can if they're attacking 2 seconds, it's
Make
6
Scion
ignite stacks
great again.
per. Yeah,
I
exciting.
think range attack totem would be better because they can,
Barrage.
they can use barrage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh
as-
my gosh.
3
let's do
totems
it.
with barrage with you barraging.
I'm doing it right now. I'm gonna.
All I
make
need is
3
taming, and I can
level
make the
again.
build right now. I have everything else.
I literally
Are you
just sold
standard?
my taming yesterday. I'm sad.
No.
130 chaos. They're
So you
expensive.
don't have like.
I guess we can go ahead and wrap things up here.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we.
But
think-
we're in love
What?
We are in love
with the build.
with the build.
I'm in love with the cocoa.
Cool. Thanks everybody for participating and asking questions and answering questions.
And Reddit, I cannot wait to hear your comments. Keep them coming, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Are you gonna
And-
post this one on Reddit?
And next
Taylor?
time,
Sure, I'll
guys,
post it this time.
if you guys feel like you need any help or any questions, feel free to ask myself, Straz, Polab, or TPG. We'll be definitely happy to help you. Just check out our streams and ask us, and we'd be more than inclined to help you guys. if you
Yeah,
have
I'll
any-
put a link to all of the streamers that were in the discussion today into the comments section after I post it on Reddit. And it'll also be on my YouTube channel, and I think Polab's going to put it on their YouTube channel, and they'll have links as well.